Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. On this episode of the Deep Dive series, we will talk about how you can be fully prepared to teach a new unit. On this podcast, guests and I have mentioned many times that teachers should be ready to teach a new unit before they begin teaching it in class. But what does that actually look like? Don't worry, we've got you covered here. There is a phrase in English, an embarrassment of riches. It means having so many choices and options that you don't really know what to do and where to start. In the last few years, we at GrapeSEED have tried to provide this to teachers. You have heard Bruno and some of the coaches talk about the time before lesson plans, or the time before the portal and grape leaf. Even just a few years ago, teachers received their box of classroom materials and a teacher manual, did foundation training, and, well, that was it. There were no other resources available on demand to support their professional development and continued learning. Times have changed. There is so much content available now to help you be successful in the classroom, in the form of documents and videos on the portal, the audio in this podcast, and even a more direct line of communication with your coach. At any time, you can access information to learn more about GrapeSEED theory, see practical examples of components being taught in classrooms around the world, or hear the stories and ideas other teachers have. All exciting stuff, for sure. In older podcasts, we talked about navigating the video library on the portal and digging into our now 90-plus podcast library. Today, we will specifically look at how you can effectively prepare to teach a new unit utilizing the many different resources available to you. Short disclaimer here. There is no official way to prepare to teach a new unit. Effective GrapeSEED teachers around the world have devised many different methods for getting ready. This podcast will actually be my own personal recommendations for how I would prepare to teach a new unit, given all the currently available resources. If you have your own method, great. Maybe there will be an idea or two you can take from this episode to add to your own preparation. If you are a new teacher and really have no idea where to begin, consider following these ideas and then adapting the process to what works best for you. To talk about this in a less abstract and more concrete way, let's say that I'm currently teaching Unit 1. The next unit would obviously be Unit 2, and I will need to be prepared to teach it before we actually start it in class. I have my Unit 1 components memorized well and am following the lesson plans without too much difficulty, so I can start to devote some time to studying the new unit. About a month before moving to Unit 2 in class, I would start listening to Unit 2 components on the portal, maybe setting aside some of my pre-class setup or post-class reflection time to start getting used to the components. I would specifically focus on songs and big books to make sure I had the melodies completely memorized. Initially, I would just listen. Then, when I felt more confident, I would sing along. Once I felt even more confident, I would try singing it by myself before playing the audio file to check and see if I was right. Simply listening or singing along with the audio can sometimes make you feel overconfident. I find trying to sing by myself and then double-checking with the audio to be a good test. It's especially nice as you can do it alone and not have to show off your singing skills to a fellow teacher. Following this, I would have the components down pretty well a couple weeks before Unit 2 starts in class. This is a good point to start to dig into the educational side of things, with the teacher manual and looking either at the classroom materials themselves or their PDF versions on the portal. What are the learning objectives and the quick checks? Are they what you thought they were in your first impressions when you started memorizing them, or are they different? If they didn't match your initial impressions, what do you need to take note of and remember before you start to really teach?
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.